Okay. Well, first of all, off to a rocky start. Thank you to anyone that has stuck around. 1 second. Well, I guess whatever. At least it only happened during the introduction, and I'm hoping that's the only time my internet, for whatever reason, disconnects. But yeah, thank you, Bob Marley, for having the patience, for sticking around, and thank you, Discount Seth Rogen, for the sub, and for being here. Super appreciated. Yeah, I want to make sure. No, this is how technology works. As soon as you have something like planned and scheduled, it doesn't want to cooperate. Moment. Okay. Think we're stable. We'll find out. But yeah, again, thank you everyone. So on this stream, which was pre-planned and scheduled, although I probably should have done a better job at announcing it, for sure. But I'm scheduled to speak with JohnnyScarlett, fellow streamer, content creator, educational streamer. I've totally raided into them a number of times, and I think they raided me actually last weekend, where they cover a wide range of topics, as well as I do. And I've been on a couple of panels, not actually more than a couple, I think a few panels with them. I think I've been on at least like 3 or 4 Prime panels with them, and always great, always super interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's just going to be a casual conversation. I think they originally reached out to me to talk about fitness and maybe some health stuff, but I'm open to anything. And let's see. I'm just kind of paranoid about my connection. I definitely don't want it to crap out during the conversation. I have less of an issue, or if I'm whatever covering solo content, but I definitely never want my internet to disconnect when I'm either on a panel or talking with someone, even though the audience pays the price during the solo stream. And also I have other future content planned. Next weekend, I should also be speaking or covering a paper with Neuroalicia, fellow content creator, neuroscientist. So that should be cool. At least I'm looking forward to that. And I've reached out, actually, or I am reaching out to a couple of other content creators to hopefully do more collaborations, maybe more conversations. We'll see. I'm kind of just branching out all over the place. So I'm scheduled to speak with JohnnyScarlett pretty much in the next few minutes, but it's totally fine. They're late, or if they're just getting set up, or if they happen to cancel last minute, that's totally fine, because I totally have a bunch of content that I want to cover. But actually, we'll dive right into it as we're waiting. Moment. I want to start with this. Softball question starts the convo. People are now annoyed by car alarms, assuming it's a glitch and not an actual break-in. Just review on car alarms. So I've definitely, at least this is just my perspective, but rewinding like 10, 15 years ago, it seems like car alarms were way more of a thing. I live like pretty much in the heart of I live in the downtown area of my major city. I'm surrounded by cars, and at least I've noticed a decrease in car alarms going off. I don't know if that's an actual reflection of reduced whatever car theft or people not having car alarms. No idea. But yeah, I don't see a lot of utility, personally, car alarms. Like, I actually have no idea how well they perform in disincentivizing car theft. Just because I think, at least these days, aren't most, if not all cars, like GPS tracked? Or at least there's some tracking system in them. I could be totally wrong. I don't own a car. I don't really drive. So I'm like pretty much one of the least qualified to talk about these things. But my understanding is like pretty much like most modern cars are like GPS tracked in some way. I don't know, and I don't know if there's any actual evidence that car alarms are actually effective. I'd actually be curious if they actually are. Because I think even with car alarms, car theft still happens, and I think most whatever experience car thieves like know how to deal with an alarm or like deactivate it. I think. Again, I'm just totally speaking out, thinking aloud. 1 second. But yeah, in the meantime, while we're waiting, we're gonna cover some content. And Bob Marley totally got the study that you posted in the Discord, not the study, the article that you posted in the Discord, which is a great article. That totally came across my newsfeed as well. And I totally have, there's a whole bunch of other stories in that vein of basically, you know, science not being performed ethically or up to standard, retractions, etc., etc. Far more common than it should be. But before we get to that, cover what I think some cool stuff, which is, so this is from the Washington Post, but they're referring to an actual study about addressing peanut allergies and a skin patch, as they say, for toddlers. Shows promise, study finds, and I have the original study from the New England Journal of Medicine, I believe, this one, which is like immunotherapy in toddlers with peanut allergy. Unfortunately, I don't think I have access to the full article. I think it's just like a brief summary or the abstract. Yeah, just the abstract of the article, unfortunately. Since the actual full article is behind a paywall, that I am not subscribed to the New England Journal of Medicine. A skin patch being developed by a French pharmaceutical company to treat peanut allergy is showing promise in toddlers, according to a peer-reviewed study published Wednesday. The peanut patch outperformed a placebo in desensitizing children to peanuts and increasing the peanut dose that triggered allergic symptoms, said the study, which was funded by the company DV Technologies and published in the New England Journal of Medicine, which is, you know, highly respected, world-renowned medical journal. The trial involved 362 children with peanut allergy from ages 1 to 3 in 8 countries, including the United States, Canada, and Australia. Nearly 85% of the toddlers completed the trial. Most of those who did not were withdrawn by their parent or guardian. The trial involved a toddler wearing either a peanut patch containing 250 micrograms of peanut protein. So this is a very small quantity. About 1/1000th of a peanut, or the placebo patch between their shoulder blades every day for a year. Among the children who wore the peanut patch, called Via Skin, 2/3 were able to tolerate a higher amount of peanut protein at the end of the year. A third of the placebo group were also able to tolerate higher amounts. Some children outgrow peanut allergy. And actually, I can speak with some analogous experience with this. I've never had a peanut allergy, but it seems like I have outgrown an allergy that I did have when I was younger. When I was born, I was deathly allergic to cats, like so much so that when I was born, my parents actually had a cat or a pet. They had to give it away because like I couldn't breathe when they brought me home. But as I grew and developed, for whatever reason, maybe through exposure, I have no idea, but I am no longer allergic to cats, and thankfully so. because I love cats. And well, all animals, but way more of a cat person. For parents and caregivers of young children with peanut allergy. Oh, and also at the same time, I was severely asthmatic when I was younger, pretty much when I was born. And I also appear to have outgrown that as well. I'm no longer asthmatic. Yeah, I was like so asthmatic that, I'd have asthma attacks and require hospitalization. And like, I think at around the age of like 11 or 12, it just kind of like disappeared. The patch could be a useful tool to defend those under age 4 against potentially life-threatening accidental consumption or exposure in areas such as cafeterias and playgrounds. Peanut allergy is one of the most common allergies among children, and there is no cure for food allergies according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A drug used to treat peanut allergy in children ages 4 to 17 was approved by the Food and Drug Administration in 2020, but the therapy, called Palforzia, has struggled to gain traction with consumers, as it is costly and requires a battery of medical appointments to begin treatment. Nestle bought the company that developed the drug, but is now trying to sell it amid disappointing take-up. Barron's reported, citing Nestle chief executive Mark Schneider's comments at an investor conference. I had no idea, actually, that Nestle was, let's say, participated in buying up potential drugs. I actually had no idea that they were involved in any sort of pharmaceutical development, personally. In a news release on Wednesday, EBV Technologies expressed hope that the newly published data could help the Via Skin patch secure FDA approval. The study's lead author, Matthew Greenhawt, who specializes in allergies and immunology at Children's Hospital Colorado, said in the news release that the trial shows that if approved, the Via Skin peanut patch has the potential to give new hope to toddlers and their families who currently have no approved treatment options and must instead rely on avoidance, which can severely impact quality of life. But the Phase 3 trial had various limitations. The study acknowledged, including the exclusion of children with severe peanut allergies because of safety concerns. It also lacked diversity, as most of the toddlers in the trial, 65% in the peanut patch group and 59% in the placebo group, were white. Only one child identified as black was included in each group. The study said the lack of diversity was consistent with other food allergies. Yeah, that makes sense. And Entrama, welcome. Thank you so much for passing by, and also, if I can do this properly. I've been well. But they're a fellow streamer and content creator. And I believe, I was on that panel with you on Universal Discourses channel. But thank you so much for passing by. I hope you're doing well also. Nearly all of the participants experienced adverse events during the trial, such as itching or swelling at the site of the patch. One serious adverse event, periorbital edema, which is basically swelling. I'm not sure where the periorbital area is. Or swelling, or yeah, that makes sense. Around the eyes. Associated with the peanut patch was reported in that group, with the majority of the adverse events characterized as mild or moderate, or anaphylactic reactions related to the peanut patch were reported. Interesting. So it seems like, even though this is basically a desensitization experiment, clearly, and they started off with a super small quantity, 250 micrograms, if I remember correctly. 2 feet, so like that.